موج صوتی دخترانه بند و زندان بشکند.
This video is dedicated to the freedom of Afghan women. Women from Afghanistan have been fighting for their rights for a very long time, but little by little their rights have been taken away from them. So I want to share what they can or they cannot do and how's life for Afghan women in Afghanistan. First, I want to share how the world look like when a woman is wearing burqa. Let's see what are the comments in this video. This is so sad for real. It's actually sad. I will never understand why seeing is your natural law. That's scary. I'm sorry, how is this freedom exactly? And there are some people who think this is liberation and this is freedom. So God has given us some senses to enjoy the world and to just do day-to-day things. Among those senses is our sense of sight, how we can see with both our eyes, sense of smell through our nose, taste, and our speech that we use tongue for too, and then our ears, sense of hearing, and then the last sense is sense of touch. These women who are fully covered, they can't use any of these senses. So Allah has given us all these senses to enjoy life, and they are completely like rejecting all the things that Allah has granted us. So how is it Islam? Unfortunately, it's just really sad. All of this is done in the name of Islam. This is completely against human rights. Right now, some people are saying that women over there have even less rights than a dog. Let's first see what are the things they cannot do and they can do. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like they can do a lot of things. Most of the things they cannot do.
Here's everything Afghan women have been banned from over the past 2 years. Attending secondary school or university, traveling long distances without men, having most jobs outside of the home, going to parks, gyms, or public baths, working at most non-governmental organizations, owning or going to beauty salons, driving without a male companion, going to restaurants on their own, and must wear head-to-toe clothing in public areas. We will not accept a reality that limits the potential of women.
This is from 2023 and things recently got much more restricted, in which they've told the women in Afghanistan that they can't even speak in public. They can't use their voice and they must be covered from head to toe, including their hands and their feet. And if you read Quran, there's no such thing like that. The absolutely first verse in Quran is about reading. It says read in the name of your God. So how can this be Islam? This is not Islam. This is just a way to gain power and control over women. And I just don't understand why men over there are so threatened by a woman. Why they are so threatened by her potential. I just do not get it. And there are a few other things that I'm going to share, and how violence towards women can be so exaggerated just by these little things. So let's watch some other clips.
چند وقت میشه خبر شه پدر مادر تو رو میفروشن؟
در
به خاطر چی میفروشه پدر مادر تو؟
به خاطر برنج رو خانه آردازم.
اولی میخوای که خود پدر مادرت باشی، چقدر پدر مادرت دوست داری؟ فلان سکوت. میخوای خود پدر مادرت باشین؟
کس دیگر خوش ندارم.
This is like seriously so sad. It's the fact that children have to pay for their sins. How are your children not your everything? Or if the father owes you money, take him and let him work for you to pay his debt. So girls are being sold because there's no way for some families to make money. This creator, she actually visited Afghanistan even before all these new laws, and women are not allowed to work. Women cannot work. And there was a girl, she went to a house, and there was this lady, and she has 3 little children, and her husband died from opium use, and it is very common. Opium addiction is very common in Afghanistan. How I know is because a lot of Afghan refugees came to Pakistan and they were doing opiums, and that's how it was spread even in Pakistan in those areas. So her husband died from opium use, and she's now left alone with 3 little kids, and she's not allowed to work. How is she going to support herself? So if government is putting those kind of rules, they are responsible to feed every family. If they are not letting women work, then they should pay those families where there's no man. Like, how can she support herself? This is logic, but seems like some people just cannot understand.
Women are no longer allowed to sing, recite, or read out loud in public in Afghanistan. This is because their voices are deemed too intimate and should not be heard. So if a mother wanted to sing to her child in public to soothe them because they're crying, they're prohibited from doing that. They're also prohibited from getting an education that exceeds the 6th grade level. Women are also required to hide their entire bodies, including their faces, to avoid temptation. Women are not allowed to look at men who aren't related to them by blood or by marriage. They are not allowed to be transported without a male guardian with them. And in Afghan...
My very big issue is that you see male Muslim influencers become so loud when a Muslim girl is not allowed to wear hijab. Like in France, women were not allowed to wear hijab inside school, where they were completely safe, they were getting an education, they were just taking their hijab off, and they would get their education, and then they come out, they were free to do their religious obligations, they were free to wear whatever they want to wear outside of school. It's only with inside the school they couldn't wear hijab, and a lot of Muslim influencers and Islamic scholars became so upset and started telling women not to even go to school just because of that reason. First of all, my issue is that if you cannot get assimilated in a society, why are you living in that society? Why don't there are so many other Muslim countries? Why don't you just go back to those countries? The other thing that I want to say is that I have yet to see a male Muslim influencer or Islamic scholar say anything about what is happening to women over there. They cannot speak, they cannot go outside, they cannot see the world. This world is so beautiful, nature is so beautiful. They can't explore any of that, and they cannot even survive. They are struggling to survive. They can't survive. A lot of men in Afghanistan are using opium. So the woman in the household is dependent on the guy who is addicted to opiates. I'm a psychiatrist. I deal with addiction, and I know the personality of a person who is addicted to opium. And if that's the person you have to go to for your every need, I can't even imagine the lives of those women. And when they don't have a husband, I don't know how they are surviving. I'm starting to pray for them to get peace. And one other thing I really want to emphasize is that when you want a society that's healthy and that prospers, you have to take care of the women, because all the children are attached to their mother. If you are oppressing the women, you are affecting all the children, and the future is doomed. And in the end, I also want to add that Islam has nothing to do with this. You can see UAE, which is an Islamic society. It's an Islamic country, and it is the safest country for women for multiple years. Why? Because the government is actually doing things according to Islam. In that country, I really like this rule. If a man is staring at a girl or harassing her, not even harassing, if he's staring at her, she can complain to the police, and that man can get fined, and it is a very hefty fine. And for that reason, it's the safest country for women. A girl can go out at night by herself and she is completely safe. So that's an example of a Muslim country, what Islam wanted a country to be, where women are fully protected and safe, where society is modest, and everyone has a right to get education and everyone has a right to work. That's all I have to say. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.